Hey wood turners, I'm Captain Eddie Castle and welcome to my shop. Today we have a nice little project to get into, and this is a regular YouTube presentation. Don't even bother sending me a comment about the Ustreams. That's a place to store them when they're done on Ustream and I don't have room. And I put the most recent there because some guys at work can't go to YouTube. You know they're watching them when they're supposed to be working. You do know that, okay? All right. They went to YouTube and Big Brother's watching, they can't get there. So we put them on Ustream and then vice versa. So hey, bear with it. It's just one more outlet to bring you information about wood turning. One more outlet. Now, today we're going to turn a pen. Well, it was a big deal. All right, management saw a pen on a cover of the Penn State catalog. Now, if you think slow catalogs cause trouble for you, what do you think they cause for me when she sees it coming to the house and then says, "Honey, why don't you make something like this instead of those silly little things you make?" Heard that before? Isn't that like Vuja Day? Yeah. Okay. Well, she saw something come in, and it used an acrylic blank that was pink and it had a leather embossment on it or whatever. And she said, "Honey," yeah, you've heard it, all right. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and turn one. Stick around, I got some new tricks for old dogs. Watch. The pen kit we're going to turn uses a 7mm tube, and it's a comfort pen. It's got those little silly rubber things that you're supposed to put on the end, the last part. It was the kit sold with this on the cover, and I told her, order what you want. Okay, mistake number 2, right? All right. Now, I cut them to 2 1/8 inches long, and then I took my pen mill and I milled the end. Do you see it? Both ends. Why? Prior experience with these blanks is there are some little air bubbles at the end because they're poured and plugged. The barrel's already in there when they're poured, and they're plugged, and sometimes a little something happens at the very end. So clean up the very end of it. You don't have to put an insert in it. I did the same on this one. Notice this bright little light? It's one of those new LED stand lights. Some guy sent me one and said, "Hey Cap, you need to try this." So we're doing what we have to do. We're trying it. Oh man, I'll be doggone. I'm all ready to go, and I dropped that nut on the floor. And you know how clean I keep my shop. It should be right. Uh-oh. If I knock something else off, the Superdome loses its lights. Let me see if I can find this thing. All that delay was so that I could move the camera, because you can see there's the nut, and there's my extra spacer I normally put on this. Alright, but I have a little bit of room here. I can pull one of the spacers off. This is one of those adjustable mandrels. Don't let that confuse you, okay? Now, instead of bringing up my tailstock with the center and pushing on that tip, and you know the thing about this is if you put too much pressure on the tip of that mandrel, you can bow it out. But if you put pressure on the pen blank itself and the bushing, you can't bow the mandrel. Boy, you don't have any idea. Let me just explain. If I put this nut on and I put a Stilson on it and I crank it down, I can't bend that mandrel because the forces I'm applying are running on the outside of the mandrel. But once I have it tightened up, if I put too much pressure on the end, the forces are changed and the mandrel can flex or will flex. So I can tighten the nut up as much as I want. Well, let me get, boy, long road, short trip. All right. I'm going to bring up my revolving center. Oh, wait, you missed that. Let me back it up again. Pretend it was rewind. I'm going to bring up my revolving center. You know what's missing? That. That comes out of a revolving center. Both the ones made by Jet, Delta, and of course the one-way. That center comes out. And then you're pushing on the bushing, not the mandrel, and you can tighten it up and put the pressure you need on that blank to turn. Now somebody somewhere told me that someone is selling a special cup center without a center for doing this. Amazing. If you're willing to spend that money, send half of it to me. Just half. I'm not greedy, I'll just take half because you already have one. All right, now I can't charge you for that tip. I can just tell you it works. We have it between centers. We're 2 1/8. I'm going to make it a little bit fatter than normal on both pieces. Why? That's how I like the pens. I don't like them bone skinny. I'm set for 3,500 RPMs. I'm going to have this baby humming as fast as it goes because that's what I do for pens. And I'm going to take my roughing guides to it. You can see that tool. I want you to see that. You can see that tool. I'm riding the bevel. And there's a reason. Because if I just get in and choke down on it, I'm probably going to blow up that blank. So I don't want to just stick it in there like a crazy man or a hero move and blow up that blank. So I'm going to ride the bevel and get those little aggravating little curlicues all over. Right? And I'm going to shape these up. I'm just going to do more roughing work, then I'll come back to the skew. Now once everything I'm dealing with looks like these aggravating strings, and I've peeled it off and this is nice and smooth, then I'm going to go to my skew. Yes, I like the skew for this. I can read that bevel and then twist my wrist and turn it on. I've showed you how to use this tool in the past and I have a couple of videos on it. If you're afraid of your skew, let me tell you how to get over the fear. Use it. Use it, use it, use it. I'm reading the bevel and then I twist my wrist and turn it on. Nice gentle slicer. Why? No breakouts. No cracks. Nice, easy cuts. Slice him off. That is the goal of the day. Nice, easy cuts. Once you have the blank down to the size you're looking for, then you have to bring it down to the bushings. And I just, can you see, this is, top has got the long point, bottom, short point. I've got the long point down because it doesn't skid when I put that down. It won't skid out on me. Same thing over here. Whoop. But here's the thing, if you lean against the button and turn it off, you're not quite as skinny as you think you are. That's okay, I still have another 46 pounds to go. You can softly roll it over. When you do that move, keep it up high. Stay high on the piece. Don't go down too low. And remember, if you get scared of it, you can always roll it over and use it lightly, like a negative rake scraper. Especially on plastics. Works really good for that. Very, very light pressure. Plastics like to be scraped. They don't like a lot of heat. Which means sharpen up those tools. We now have it to a good basic shape. I think the light is, let's see if I can cut some light a little bit, because you really can't see very well because the heat of the light on the workpiece. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I'm bringing the speed down to about 300 RPMs. Why? I said a minute ago that this doesn't like heat. The heat from sanding is where people make mistakes. So to make sure that we don't generate heat by sanding, we do wet sanding. All right, I hear you. The motor's down there, Cap. What do? Wax paper. Put a piece of wax paper across the bed of your lathe. Get your tool rest out of the way. You don't need it. You won't need it for the rest of the operation. And put some wax paper down there. That'll keep it from getting to the motor on your Mini, or your Delta, or your Rico, or one of those other ones with the little motor under the frame. Now, at 300 RPMs, 400 grit paper, I've just finalized the design. And I have no ridges, no grooves, no runs, no errors, no one left on base. I'm going to do it from here. Okay, now. Because you really want to see the sanding, right? Can't live without it. This is Vince Welch's foam back sandpaper. Vince, I apologize, I cannot remember the name of it, but folks, if you call him, and it's that pretty pink stuff that Captain is using, he'll know exactly. I only ordered the pretty pink stuff. That was 6. I'm going to do a Soft. Hey, I remembered the name. And that's 800. Again, I'm way down on the RPMs. Now, if you've got a Mini, you're not going to get under 500 unless you have the variable speed model. 500's okay. It's just that 500, you really have to make sure that you're cooling it off. I wouldn't recommend sanding wax with this. This is 1000. Now you can order just 3 or 4 sheets of each. And I've told you what I do to mine. When I get done here today, it goes in the back pocket of my smock, and I sneak it into the wash, and sometime on the middle of the week, she'll say, "Honey, what in the hell is sandpaper doing to my washing machine?" And you very straight face go, "Honey, I don't know. It must have stuck to my jacket or something. But thank you for saving it for me. You're just such a darling." You need me to write that down for you? Drop me an email. I got them all printed out. 15. Doesn't take a lot. Really doesn't. To get them in shape. I mean, you didn't crack the plastic. You didn't apply the pressure from a dull tool and dull cutters and dull junk to screw it out. You used a sharp tool You kept it sharp and you used it properly. You didn't apply any burns. I might have applied a little bit of wet paper towel. Now, it's dulling and all get out. You really can't see that with the way the camera and the lighting is, but it's foggy. What I do now, you see that? I get it at AutoZone. Y'all might recognize the name from the top. It's the good car wax. You see it? Great for headlights. Yada, yada, yada. Headlights. Paper towel, no rag. The only rags come to my lathe to wear on my back. Doesn't take much. If I didn't have to stay out of your line of sight, it's even easier. Now, don't pick up trash like this and drag it back across that piece. You'll leave a mark. Don't get it too hot. You're only buffing it out. You can buy pads from the pen shops that goes up to 30,000, 40,000. I don't know. They make all the way to, I don't know. I just don't know. But I did need them because that, boys and girls, is crystal clear. There are no scratches, no fogginess, nothing. It's crystal clear. It's the way I wanted it. And it just took a minute of buffing. Now, I can let it cool for a minute or two, and I can put a coat of the high gloss hut on top of it. And that's just going to fill in some microscopic pores that's in the plastic. Hit speed to 3,000 and burnish it in. Now, if you put too much heat on it, you're going to bring back some fogging. So if you think, well, I got to put 2 or 3 wads of paper on it, it's getting hot. It's getting hot for a reason. You got it too hot. That is ready. The next step would be pull it off the lathe, and without the knob there, you just pull it back. The bushing stayed in that head, in that piece. Didn't fall on the floor. Didn't drop a nut. It's right here, and those are ready to become a pen. Let's press it up. Today's project was a simple pen with the cast acrylic. We did a trim line or a fun line. Now, I think this came out pretty good. It's so good that I can actually hear the crowd cheering and roaring and standing on their feet. Stop. Calm down, folks. At the International Association of Pens Penathlon. Yes, over this pen. But then over here are all the naysayers with the boos and jeers. Yeah, because I broke rules. What rules? I didn't use a 1/2-inch bowl gouge. In fact, I didn't use any bowl gouges. I used a roughing gouge and I rode the bevel. And then I didn't use a gouge after that. I used my skew and I rode the bevel. And then I wet sanded instead of dry sanding. And then I used automotive polish instead of that other polish. And man, you see how it is? You don't have to follow all the rules. All you have to do is learn how to turn wood. That's it. Learn, experiment, play around, build your skill. That's what these are great for. Oh, they're nice gifts. They can sell them at craft fairs. But they're skill builders. They're going to help you become a better turner. and I hope I helped you today. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. If I can help you in any way at all, get a hold of me at eddiecastellan@cox.net. If you are looking for carbide cutters, if you're a sharpener challenged, and you want to get into carbide, you need to find my website, eddiecastellan.com. I have got the best prices on carbide on this planet. That 1-2 planets over, they charge you shipping. But, and it's a lot, I've got the best deal, eddiecastellan.com. And oh yeah, by the way, if you're looking for more wood turning, join us on Ustream TV. Wednesday evenings, it's ustream.com or ustream.tv. Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Saturday afternoons, 3 out of 4 Saturdays, 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Go to Ustream and Google Making Shavings. M-A-K-I, well, here it is. Google this, because that's what we're doing today. We're making shavings. I'm Captain Eddie. You take care, be good, and remember, those rules were really guidelines. Except the one about the rags to the lake. That is pretty much a solid rule. Yeah. This is cool. I earned me some points. This has been a Big Guy production.